All right, good morning. We are in person for the Islandwide Beautification Task Force. We apologize for we're a little tardy. It's 11:15 a.m. And we'll go straight into the subjects. Just for the note, those present include Mayor Robert Hoffman, the Vice Chair of the Task Force. We have Stephanie Flores from the Clearinghouse. From Department of Public Works, we have Vince Ariola and Linda Vanis. From Guam EPA, we have Glenn St. Nicholas. We have Office of Homeless Assistance, or Division of Homelessness Assistance is Robson Augustine. From DPR, we have Angel Sablan and Warren Pelletier. From the University of Guam Center for Island Sustainability and Sea Grant, we have Kyle Mandapat. We have Jay Gutierrez from the Guam Department of Agriculture. We have Lola Leongoro from the Bureau of Statistics and Plans. In addition, we have staff from the Clearinghouse and the IBTF present. And so our first order of business is capital improvement project updates.
Okay, yes. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. So over the recent months, I mean, I know it's been some time since we've had an IBTF meeting. The Tamuning Gym has finally reopened fully. That was over $800,000 of repairs. They had a pigeon problem, which was causing significant delays, but that's all been taken care of. We have Manila Gym, which is still in progress. Baragata Gym has opened. Derido Gym has opened. Mariso Gym has opened. The ones that are in progress right now, pending funding approval with the National Park Service and Land Water Conservation Fund, is MTM, Among Totomaiti, Asan Maina, PD, Humontek, Inalahan, and we also have playgrounds planned throughout the island. Just so that the public is aware, your administration's goal is to have one gym in every village. And so with the addition of these gyms in MTM, Asan, PD, Humontek, and Inalahan, that would be pretty close to every village. And so we just have a few more to go. The playground, and the difference with these gyms as opposed to the Maleso Gym, Baragata, and Manila, as well as Derido, is that these gyms will have micro skate parks attached to them. So they'll be not adjacent to the gym, but in the same footprint. So that, because we already know that kids and some young adults will be doing skating anyway. So we want to provide for them a safe space to do that. We're working with a couple of the skating organizations to help design those features so that every single skate park will have something different. They won't all be exactly the same. So you can actually do a circuit. That's the plan to do these. We also are in progress with pending the turnover from GDOE, the Southern Sports Complex, which would be at Southern High. So we'll be taking over the sports fields, the swimming pool, all of that sports facility.
I think you need to clarify the swimming pool is not a funded.
The swimming pool is not a funding project, but it is part of that facility. So that's something we have to look forward to after a great deal of assessment and planning, engineering, and all the different kinds of assessments that go into making sure that that is safe and accessible. Also to determine the dollar amount that's going to be necessary to go in. Hagatya Pool is in contract phase right now. Are you in permits already? Well, when it gets to DPW, they can discuss that a little bit more. But that's where we are in those capital improvement projects and playgrounds throughout the island. Those are being planned. We have adopted bus stops. There are 103 total bus stops that have been adopted. 29 new adoptions in 2025 so far. We have 15 that have expired, and we're working with the mayors to renew those bus stops or to find out if those were renewed directly with the mayor or not. So that's a work in progress, but we do have lots of interest in bus stop adoptions. But we are still having some inquiry about power pole adoptions. So adopting the power pole so that they could paint and do some beautification of the power pole. But that's something. But it's not with us. It's really with GPA.
Yeah.
And so we're inviting people to contact GPA to see how that works.
You need to figure. I think they're needed. You need to figure out that or send it over there.
Right. So that's something that we had discussed with Bob Bazama to coordinate with GPA and DPW on those power pole adoptions.
What do they want to do? Just paint the pole?
Yeah, they want to paint parts of the pole.
Because as I was driving, for the 75th Liberation, we put up those farm banners, and we still have a lot up and down. And I'm thinking if they adopt it, let them clean the roadway that's near it, then you can put one, But it does cost money to get the banner done and the lift to put it up.
Yes.
But I think that's a good way to say, hey, you could use this space, but then you want to maintain this area. Other than just painting the pole yellow, you don't really get anything out of that. So,
Yeah, I think a lot of the interest is painting
But I
a
think
series of murals.
we have bus stops. We don't have.
Yeah, we do not have power poles.
Yeah.
We have bus stops.
And
So
we still have a lot of them that still need some help. So
correct.
yeah, but it would help DPW not having to cut that area. I mean, if you
The GPA's doing it.
GPA does the
Around the power
around
poles.
the power.
No, what I'm saying, make them do the whole
Sure,
strip.
I got you.
Understood, but we when they ask us
Anyway,
for power poles, we
Talk about that.
Yeah.
Maybe Mayor Hoffman can address that.
Yes.
Figure out a good strategy to respond to the public's desires.
Great. And so Chamorro Village rehabilitation, that's underway. There's discussions regarding refining the scope of that rehabilitation. There's a 2-phase rehabilitation happening because there's
What are
two
the
different
two
funding.
phases?
One phase is to do the fast pack cuts, for lack of a better term, and then the other part is the village itself, the pre-existing village, to do upgrades to the facilities as well as the plumbing and infrastructure there. So that's in process right now.
So where is that at? You guys are.
They're doing the refining the scope, the assessment, because when it was initially planned, prices have escalated, so we're trying to make sure that we stay within budget and refining the scope.
What's your target to go out to bid? That to be determined?
That's-
For the scope?
Yeah,
For the renovations?
Yes.
Yeah, we're still doing the scope and everything.
Yeah.
Definitely summer.
okay, that's it for me.
All right, thanks, Steph. Any questions for her? If not, we'll go to Kyle Mandapat. Kyle?
Thank you, sir. So Guam Green Growth has. Thanks, sir.
Awesome. Okay, so Guam Green Growth has finalized and finished all of our village murals. We have a total of 19, one per village, and we've launched 3 of them due to some scheduling issues with the artists and such. We've had to push the rest of them back just a bit, but we're back in full motion. So LT will be getting out the invitations for everybody to join us for those dedication ceremonies. We've got 16 more village murals, all painted by local artists. You'll see them on the Rexall wall. We redid that one because it was faded. They're pretty much everywhere. Even in Hoggett, beautiful wall there by the main space. Down in Tumon, on the way down toward the church, you'll see the mural as well. So we've got a total of 19 murals completed, 19 local artists who have contributed to the messaging behind it as well. And all of the themes, of course, with the Sustainable Development Goals. So we're looking to bring outreach via these murals to the students and to the community. And we'll be setting up some outreach activities there moving forward. In other beautification news, the Guam Green Growth Conservation Course Season 5 has kicked off. And this past week, we started with our first beautification event. We've teamed with the Mayor's Office and the Mayor's Council to provide each village with some kind of an event or support. We started with the Tamuning Mayor's Office, and we helped around the Mayor's Office, did some painting, did some trash, did some sorting, did some relocating. So it was a really great experience for the team to learn more about all of that. This past week, our conservation course spent time with Mr. Rubbishman to get through some of the waste management training and to see how that works for our island. So we're looking forward to them brainstorming some solutions and working with Mr. Rubbishman to see how we could possibly move forward with some of those implementations. Thank you, sir.
Right, any questions?
You want to consider E-Power Road we just finished that thing and the road there,
Mhm.
and there's the retaining wall is
Yes.
visible from Guam Visitors Bureau from the bottom, and there's been some talk about.
That's on the top coming down, right?
Out there. It's just a consideration.
Awesome.
Why don't you talk about it, because I think that the grant funds they had to support, we already identified, so they're kind of, you're at capacity or?
Well, all of the initial murals are completed, but whenever a good project comes up, there's always
Okay, so why
opportunity.
don't you talk about that?
Definitely.
Got some ideas.
That's a great space.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else for EOG? If not, we'll move to DPW.
Okay, thank you very much, Lieutenant Governor. With regard to our derelict building projects, most of them have just been, we've been following up with, some have entered the legal arena with AGs, but I wanted to actually focus on 2 villages where we are about to issue a notice of violations, specifically in Barrigada. I've got here 17 on my list, where we plan to issue notice of violations within the village of Barrigada, and Agate is slated for about 12 in Agate. So, I'm pretty sure the individuals know who they are, what the buildings are, but I'm looking at some of these, where the owners that we've seen are either deceased or it's in probate, but we'll file the appropriate paperwork anyway, so, you know, we're to the wise that in Barrigada and Agate, we'll try to get the NOVs out this month for sure. They've been definitely.
How about the big, you know, and I guess I'm not sure what you can say about this, but the big one everybody talks about is the Sherwood, right?
Right.
Pacific Star has been bought, so everybody's happy that are gonna recover that, but the Sherwood boy, that thing has
Yeah, so
been problematic.
yeah, the one I understand with that, and we're trying to, it got foreclosed on,
Okay,
right? Not by a bank, by a number of private owners. So we're trying to locate them and at least talk to them first before we give them a notice of violation.
had you already been giving them, did you give one years ago for that?
I think way in the beginning, yes,
Okay.
yeah. But my understanding is, because they were private financiers, right? And so the individual that had the loan on them defaulted, so it's been taken over by these private financiers. And their plan is, they're looking to flip it, they're looking to sell it. So we know it's on the market, I don't know how extensive or it is out in the real estate market, but they just want to sell it. They have no plans to renovate it or anything, so, you know, we're trying to locate them so we can sit down and have a meaningful discussion on what their plans are, because we can't just let that building.
Glenn, are you guys, is that in your crosshair for EPA?
Is that, are you guys talking about the Verona?
Yes,
Yeah.
Verona.
Yeah.
So we've actually issued a notice of violation to that company, and then like what Mr. Ariel was mentioning, they sold and they went foreclosed, and I actually stopped by there last month because they're security guards. Homeless issue, people vandalizing the area, it's still a mess. And when I was talking to the security guard, I was asking, hey, who's paying you to keep an eye on the property? And he mentioned the same owner again, so I think it's back to.
How about GBB, anything, you guys know, anything additional on that?
I'll look into that.
I know there's a lot of public sentiment and concern about it, so I think that maybe you can work in tandem with Rev and Tax to hold the owners responsible, quite frankly. Okay, anybody else on that one?
There's another building there, this property, right here and across Damian's property in the beach side. Used to be Smart,
East Agate,
yeah,
just a pass.
the 2-story building.
Oh, you're talking about right past mobile.
Right.
Yeah, that is.
Okay.
Can you do the research on that?
Okay.
Yeah, that is also.
I mean, we know who the owner is, but, you know, the owners are going in and out of that building.
Okay. Who's the owner of that?
Ronald Sue.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Roads, Vince?
Happy to report Route 10, should actually, see some movement on Route 10. That's from the tri-intersection, that's Barragata Mangino Road. From the tri-intersection in Barragata all the way up to the top of Route 4, Route 10.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna do a complete reconstruction of that, basically a mill and pave for all 5 lanes to include striping and marking. So that can actually start commencing at the end of May.
You gonna have a groundbreaking there?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that. That's slated also. We're just
I'm
waiting.
sorry, groundbreaking, yeah, groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a huge project. And again, that's all the lanes, 5 lanes, if you will. After that, then we'll do some, we've got the bid coming out for that. After that, we're gonna do some safety improvements, new traffic signals, some medians and things of that nature, but we'll pave it first. Current striping and marking slated for Route 1 from the Port Authority to Adelup, to include Dead Man's Curve. We've got some major striping, lighting, marking, and signage slated for Dead Man's Curve.
What are you gonna do with that now? I mean, I guess you tried the,
We tried the candlesticks.
that doesn't work. People
Right.
are concerned about concrete.
Yeah, so we're
The
gonna.
point is you wanna reduce speed there, right?
Right, and so we're gonna do some, from some striping, we're gonna do some rumble strips to slow down the vehicles. We believe that's really gonna work. And then what we really wanna do is work in tandem with Guam Police Department to have a highway support there for, possible speeders,
Gotcha.
and other types of motors, especially on the tractor trailers. I've spoken to Chamber of Commerce and I've spoken to Guam Contractors Association. So I've already put them on notice that we're gonna do some traffic safety improvements there to bring the speeds down, and we're working in tandem with Guam Police Department. So you're on notice. If you guys start getting pulled over, we already notified you. We told you so. So then after that, we'll be up north from Kmart, all the way to the front gate of Anderson. So that's gonna be a long project, but it's long overdue also, that full striping and marking.
These are all the federal highway ones, right?
Yes.
How about for cemeteries?
There's a meeting at 3:30, I've been asked to attend. We've done some estimates to do a mill and pave, at least for now.
How about a striping?
Do everything, mill and pave, striping, probably get rid of all those bricks for now, until we can do a complete.
But you don't have a funding source for that though, right?
That's the problem.
So here's the thing, but I think we wanna do striping ASAP, just like what you did with Route 10. You had to do some bridge work,
Strike it
right?
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what funding we have available. We might have funding available for striping. We don't have enough for paving, so hopefully.
Right, and cemeteries is not on the radar of the Federal Highway Administration.
It's a routed road, but it isn't because we have easement issues and all kinds of, it's easement issues.
That's your thought, but I think we need to do striping,
At least,
yes, for
yeah,
sure.
we'll see what can come soonest.
Okay, alright.
Right.
How about village streets, we're still working?
We are in Pneumatic, right? And then we will be in Molesso. Molesso will basically covers the entire village from, I think, the cemetery to pretty much around where the former mayor used to, or lives, yeah.
Right.
So that's a long strip, yeah. I just had a meeting with Waterworks and notified them that we'll be in the area. So if they've got any work that they need to do, or they could start making sure that their pipes are, secure, we're gonna be
Right, they have some
area.
problems there with storm drains,
Storm drains and
sewer.
well, we don't know it yet, but we always figure out usually within 36 to 48 hours, after we start doing the tampering, their water lines start busting, so hopefully that.
Right, I mean, normally we're trying to mitigate that by
Right.
having them go and verify their infrastructure first.
Right, same thing on Route 10.
Okay.
They're gonna do some work, I think that work will start this week to either lay new lines or
You're a fan? Yeah.
right around the Wendy's area.
Okay. All right. Anything else from you?
Road improvements, striping, marking, dip and turf, those are the three big ones. And then real quick, you mentioned something on the Canyon Pool contract is in circulation. With, who's the contractor? BME? BME is the contractor, and it's at the AG's office.
All right. You guys already signed?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good. Any questions for DPW?
I just have one question.
Lola?
The airport, are there plans to stripe the road there? 'Cause you know, at
Yeah, we're gonna
nighttime-
do,
Okay.
full reconstruction of Route 10A. Yeah, we received a raise grant. We just, I think we just finalized, everything. We're ready to go on that project. Yeah, that'll go from the intersection of Marine Drive and Airport Road all the way past the airport. And that'll be a, full 5 lanes to include sidewalks.
So you're going out to bid soon for that, or you already went to bid?
We're going out to bid real soon on that. We could probably do a quick, temporary striping, you know, because I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Really bad.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other questions for DPW? Kyle?
Sir, any plans to like get more of the village road signs up? Only because
We have full signage, I think the bid is going, did we do the bid already? Yeah, so we've got a bid, going out. We're replacing over 1,800 signs throughout the island, and that is funded by, through Federal Highway. It just took a long time, a lot of it is typhoon related, but we have 1,800 signs that are gonna be replaced. And, while I'm on the subject, I'm sorry, I didn't bring it up earlier, we're replacing most, if not all, the traffic signals and their associated, control boxes.
awesome.
So,
Okay.
huge upgrade.
Glenn?
Would you also be in charge of the cameras that are attached to those intersections? Because I see that there's some that it's attached, I'm not sure if they're in.
Yeah, that's, I think we're doing away with, the cameras. I've got to double check the design. But, we've got a surprise in store for those, folks who like to run the red lights. I'm not gonna say it now. We'll say it upon implementation.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on to EPA. Well, EPA with Glenn.
So the abandoned vehicle program is continuous. It's with the MCOG. What they're doing differently this year is that instead of issuing 19 different RFPs out, they're doing one. And that's where the delay is at right now. So in terms of the abandoned vehicle numbers, it still remains the same numbers. There's approximately 1,883 abandoned vehicles that were removed from the island. In terms of illegal dumping, Guam EPA received 91 illegal dumping complaints, of which 63 are abandoned vehicle related. They issued 21 written warnings and litter citations. They issued 60. I suspect as a result of the abandonment of those vehicles, of a total of environmental enforcement actions of 81 that was issued.
So that's a trend upwards, huh, Glenn?
It is a trend upwards. It happens a lot of times at the beginning of the year when they're preparing for the abandoned vehicle removal. So people are bringing it out, even though the mayors kind of remind residents, don't pull it out until we're ready to collect. And in anticipation, they're bringing it out. So we get complaints by the village mayor's office and different residents, along with GPD, on these vehicles. So we run the plates, we find out who the last registered owner is, and we issue a citation.
All right, so when you're putting your things on the government easement, that is a violation. Be warned, and we're not giving really any chances on this. I mean, maybe we're gonna let you know, but if you know better, then you're gonna get a citation.
We'll reach out to the last registered owner to remove their vehicles onto their private property until such a time the program is ready to get collected with the village mayors. And of course, if there's just no action, then we issue a citation.
Yeah, I think police is looking at tow trucks also, right? Because I think There's observations that the tow trucks are playing roles in pushing things out. So I think DRT started engaging. There's a tow truck task force, I think, that is in the statute that they're working on, but I think there's a lot more work to be done with that group.
Right. And then Guam Police Department is spearheading a task force to figure out a location for the abandoned vehicles that they come across, along with GSWA is involved with that as well, and DPW and other agencies to figure out a location. GSWA already has a car crusher that we're trying to leverage, and they're getting with a recycler to find out if it's viable to use a recycler or to do it themselves and export it.
Great.
But if I may, Glenn, the funding is still with the mayors.
The funding is still with the mayors. I believe GSWA and I think DPW is a part of the regulation where if they submit an MOA with the agency, they will get their.
You guys can do an MOA with you guys, the two of you.
Right. Yeah, okay. So legal it's still.
So I think EPA legal and your legal needs to.
Right. Because the law gave us the responsibility, but zero funding.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the regulation identifies DPW
Right.
as an agency that is able to contract as well to obtain those services.
Okay.
Okay, let's push it out, you guys.
Okay.
Any questions for EPA?
Yes, one question. So every once in a while, we'll get calls from concerned citizens about, houses within their neighborhood that are stockpiling junk and trash and vehicles. So who should they be calling about that?
So they contact Guam EPA. One of the problems that we're finding is that Guam EPA does not have the authority to remove any solid waste from private properties. So that's kind of a gap. It's something that we would like to try and address and maybe leverage, the agencies that have the authority to remove for compliance. And the only one that comes close is DPW's derelict building. So even though we issue a notice of violation and litter citations, it still remains the same.
Well, the other thing too is, I guess maybe we need to talk about this because eventually the cost for that can be a lien on the property, right? That being said, I know that when we went recently, we were at further up from the Veteran Cemetery is the. No. There's a preserve. There's a Maso, right?
Yes.
So I think I was up there and with Director of Agriculture, and we were kind of concerned about. There's a whole bunch of debris from Chamorro-Natras area that seems to be a threat to that, and again, Chamorro-Natras not. They're underperforming in protecting the resources under their control. So I think that's an active issue, if I'm not mistaken, from EPA also?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you, Glenn. DPR, Angel? Martin?
Good morning, anyways, good morning, everybody. I just wanted to start off with number one is the shoreline area at Paseo. I want to thank DPW for helping us out with that project. We had 48 volunteers from the Naval Department that worked with Chief Tulahi to bring them over and help us out. And DPW came in with helping us with the backhoes and the dump trucks to clean that area. And also we painted the pavilions and stuff there. So that's all in our efforts to make Paseo area really nice. We also fixed up the veteran pavilion there for the veterans, and some people say things about what we've done, but there's been a lot of homeless and people stealing items out of there that has made the veterans there very upset. So that's why we did what we did for that pavilion. So they're really happy. We've addressed their their handicap ADA compliance for the parking area, and we've also in the process of doing the electrical, which we have electrical now going to there, and that's what's also with the DPW's assistance in their electrical guys. So we appreciate that. Thank you. The other thing I wanted to bring up is the Dedido Sports Complex. We've had quite a bit of vandalism happening there with people cutting through the fence and coming through the back area where the pipeline is. So we reached out to DPW again that assisted us in clearing the back fence line there about 8 feet out. We've completed about 80% of that. The other part is behind the Guam Tennis Association area. So we'll try to figure out getting that done later on. But thank you again, DPW, for your assistance in that. We've had to fill up a couple holes there too. So we had vandalism happen there every day, and we finally caught them and we've processed them. So hopefully they'll get what's to be coming to them. Thirdly, Pago Bay. Pago Bay is still an issue for us. On the CPO side, we work very closely, almost daily. Mayor Santos texts me about his concerns with people moving in again. He's done a wonderful job in cleaning up the DPR park there in collaboration with us and the paints that we supply him. But some people have moved in, sir, and they moved into the private property. So we're working with Mayor Santos to see if he can reach out to the owners and do their due diligence in trying to get them removed. And if they do get removed and they need assistance in removing them, we can have park police come in and assist. But other than that, once they're in there, our hands are tied. So we'd have to wait for the owners to step up to the plate and have them taken care of. Last thing we want to bring up is the Ipao Beach bollards. They were removed right after the typhoon without any knowledge of us or any approval from us. That has caused the grass there to look terrible. People driving in from all angles. We've had 2 young kids hit already and one that was run over. Her legs were run over. So it's a problem. I've reached out to Dee Hernandez to see if she could bring that up, and so we just need to.
They removed it, right?
Yeah.
They removed it.
But they were supposed to replace it.
Yes,
But then
sir.
there was a change of leadership, and that no longer is a priority, or?
Well,
I would say that you probably should send a violation notice over to the GVB and ask them to repair it.
yes. We wanted to do something temporary, but we would need some help in that. One of the temporary things we can do, sir, is there's a lot of the fence line along the roadways. They used to have the barrier cement pillars. There's about 2,000 down at the Coral Pit in Dedido when I went down there. Yes, and if we can get that to line up there and make it nice, we'll paint it. And
Well, make sure it looks nice. Why don't you, I know Mayor Hoffman will push GVB management to resolve the issue.
Yeah, I mean, and temporary, because the grass is
But
getting.
yes, the fencing around the storm drains, that's terrible, so.
This is the one in front of the Hilton?
Yeah, that was damaged. Half of it's gone already.
Anyway, I think you have
I have a design for that.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's get on it.
And the gates. So yeah, that was removed, that and a lot of trees, and we were sent a nasty letter from agriculture for the trees that were removed there without our knowledge. So
Say that again?
At EPA, when they moved the bollards, they also moved a lot of key trees there that are protected. So, but that's in the past. Move forward.
Maybe the tree fell down.
Yeah, they did. Anyways, that's all we
Anything
have.
from DPW, DPR?
Right here.
Angel?
Thank you, Lieutenant. I'll just report on our FEMA projects that we're beginning to start rolling out. We're going to see some activity up to the United Chinese Association adopted park. Of course, we're going to put it back to pre-Mawar, but then there's interest from the Chinese Association, United Chinese, to enhance it further. So I told them we have to finish the FEMA project first before you start putting, this other stuff you want to put in. And then EPEN, Telefofo, that project is gonna start pretty soon. We're gonna put the huts back up and, whatever was damaged by the typhoon, all of these parks. The San Antonio Bridge, there's a little work to be done there. The Inalahan Sagaluga Pool, there's some also cosmetic work to be done there. The Vietnam Memorial up in Hamatek and the Sedza and the Seti Bay are also going to be put out so that they can start working those things too. It's going to be brought back to pre-war, but it's beautify the place. So all of these FEMA projects are going to start rolling out. These are all below the threshold of where we have to put out in a bid. So we'll just give you the market research data on it, and then you can do the POs on it. Yeah. The other ones that are over, we're doing the sale, but we also have the Northern Gym. That's scope of work is around $400,000. So
What are we doing at the Northern Gym?
well, there's roofing damage, windows, and things like that has to be repaired. And
That's gonna be but following that, there's a bigger, hardening that, we're working with on the hazard to.
Generators and.
Right. Right.
And this includes fish eye as well, the new lift station, we just don't know where we can get the battery going. So the lift station all squared away with and a pump in there.
And we're also looking for, unfortunately, the lights up at the Northern Complex weren't covered by FEMA, so we're trying to look at some funding to put in more solar lights. There's 34 poles up there.
So you have the poles already?
The poles are up, they're not there, and even the electrical lights are still there, but they're not functioning.
Let me clarify. So there's 26 around the walkway. That's only 1 or 2 are working now. And if you every night there's about 3 to 4.
But you have poles there?
Yes, there's
Yes,
poles.
there's poles.
And you want to
instruments. Yeah.
Just need the
What's
solar
your
lights.
estimate for that? What do you think it's gonna cost to?
Actually, we had asked GVB to give me the estimate because they already put that out actually for work to be done until they change the leadership.
There's 68 total, including the parking lot and
68 poles?
yeah. So there's the
68
walkway
lights.
and the parking lots. They all have poles, and I think Respicio from the energy office. Yeah, she went up there. Yeah, I met her and we did a count up there. So yeah.
Okay.
So she was trying to get a grant there as well.
All right.
So that would be very helpful for us.
It's 68 lights down because each pole extended with it is double. It's in and out. So
Walkway and parking lot.
yeah. There's hundreds of people that work there, that walk there now every day. And so I'm glad that through Warren and DPW, that they were able to clear the back fence, and so people feel much safer walking around in the back. Not wondering whether there's somebody lurking or hiding in the jungle there, so that's all clear. But if we could get the lights up there, that's why we keep the pool lights on, at night, even though there's not being in use, so that assists in, getting some illumination in the walkway.
Okay. Anything else from DPR, from anybody? If not, we'll move to agriculture. Jane?
For the dog population management, for our animal control, the dog cat surgeries for FY25 October through March was 1,189. January to March is 640 dog and cat surgeries. The animal control officers picked up from January to March 239 animals, and then in FY25 the total was 451. For dog and cat euthanize, January to March is 885, and then for FY25 is 682. The animal control officers are also doing, a training with the CNMI. They are starting on a virtual training. It's already started, I think, on Wednesday, and then doing weekly trainings after that. For forestry, they are working on hazardous trees in Maina with GPA. They're waiting for GPA on their bucket truck. Also, they participated in the Earth Day event. They were out at Ascado in the reforestation site. with EPA, doing site maintenance such as tree pruning, small planting, fuel load reduction. And they also are supporting the Northern and Guam Soil and Water Conservation District on the EPA tree planting at Guam Museum. One thing I want to bring up is for biosecurity. At Mosso and Seagull Falls, they found little fire ants that tested positive. So they're waiting for their grant, the notice of award. When they get the notice of award, they're going to map out the public sites that are positive for the LFA and develop an eradication plan. And that's all the updates.
Jay, I'm sorry. How do you get rid of these fire ants? Because I hear 5 different ways.
Well, our entomologist, Chris Rosario, works on that. It's probably an 8-month process, and after that, it's pretty long.
It is.
And after that, you have to follow up monitoring after that and doing a certain spraying to make sure they're fully eradicated. It also involves clearing of vegetation as well, because they're also in the vegetation, overhanging vegetation, so you have to clear all of that as well. And we did all of that at our department.
Okay. Any questions for Jay?
The invasive species, how are we doing on any new ones or anything other than fire ants that I know that some of the residents called about these tiny moths looking things on certain trees now and.
I'm not aware of anything. I'll have to check also with entomologists.
All right. Anybody present? There is nobody other than Mayor Hoffman from GVB here. But I'm not sure.
I did mention to Dee, so Dee said the EPA stuff's on the hot button request, but they don't recall any tree cutting stuff. They said they did that with you guys for the buses. So if you know what trees were removed.
Anyway, go to committee and figure that out. Fact finding. Okay. Any announcements? Any questions out there? Yes,
Well, I'm just gonna point out the coastal cleanup is September 20.
Okay, September 20.
And then we are putting up some signage around Guam, so we redid the one down at EPAL. That I know there was conversation that it was blocking a sign in the back, so we're gonna try to get it cut. And we're gonna seek assistance from DPW, that they can just cut the poly. And then we will be installing a sign in Alahan, the pool there.
All right.
So that will probably be installed possibly in the end of May.
Okay. All right. Are there any other items? If not, I just want to recognize and thank, of course, everybody for their efforts, but the IBTF staff and the clearinghouse staff also. In particular, Chris Flores, thank you for taking the lead. Thanks so much. It is noticeable out there. When we were talking about bus stops, I've been everywhere this week, so there are some that came my way, but my memory is blank. So again, we do encourage the community, especially those that are living in the villages where the bus stops are. It's always best to have people that are there so they understand what's going on. But there is still need for more bus stop adoptions, and we encourage you to call the clearinghouse office at
473-1157 through 16.
Great. Okay, if there's no further questions, the meeting's adjourned.